Hello all, very good evening. So this is the first lecture or it's an orientation lecture. So you people might have heard a lot about means what is anthropology या आप लोगों ने इधर उधर से कहीं ना कहीं से सुन के बेसिकली डिसाइड किया होगा कि एंथ्रोपोलॉजी लेनी है या नहीं लेनी है एंड आपको एक बेसिक आइडिया तो लग ही चुका होगा दैट व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू explore in anthropology. But still, since it's the orientation lecture, we will look somewhat एक डिफरेंट एस्पेक्ट थोड़ा आपको एक अलग तरीके से एंथ्रोपोलॉजी में क्या होने वाला है क्या देखने वाले हैं व्हाट दैट वी आर गोइंग टू सी ओके सो आई विल जस्ट ट्राई टू मेक इट वेरी शॉर्ट नॉट too much lengthy. I'll just try to wrap it up in 30-40 minutes. Okay, and we'll try to make it as interesting as possible for you guys. So we'll divide this discussion into two parts. First one is what is anthropology, and the second is how we are going to approach this subject. Okay, so what is required for it and what the exam demands, ये हम देखेंगे उसमें. So first let's start with what is anthropology. So a very beautiful definition and one of the oldest definition that was given by Aristotle about anthropology was that anthropology is a gossip that human beings make about themselves. So gossip तो आप समझ रहे हो कि गप मार रहे हैं. Human beings or we people are making हमारे बारे में हम कुछ भी गप कर रहे हैं. That is what he defined as anthropology. And this is true in any sense. Okay, why? Because gossip has no dimension. और gossip किसी भी direction में जा सकती है. You can talk about family, you can talk about marriage, you can talk about religion, you can talk about money, economy, politics, behavior, and also size, shape, skin color, hairstyle, anything, clothing, anything, food. So किसी भी direction में gossip has no specific dimension. Gossip can move in any direction, and this is what anthropology is doing. Okay, anthropology अगर इस डेफिनेशन को थोड़ा सा रिफाइन करके देखें तो एंथ्रोपोलॉजी इज द होलिस्टिक स्टडी ऑफ मैन. दैट मीन्स मैन को हर डायमेंशन से स्टडी कर रहा है और वो गॉसिप भी वैसा ही करती है. ओके, गॉसिप कैन एनालाइज मैन थ्रू और कैन टॉक अबाउट एनी पर्सन और एनी ग्रुप और एनी सोसाइटी फ्रॉम एनी काइंड ऑफ डायमेंशन. आप उनकी इकोनॉमी के बारे में बात कर सकते हो, आप उनके बिहेवियर के बारे में बात कर सकते हो. यू कैन टॉक अबाउट देयर फूड, यू कैन टॉक अबाउट देयर लैंग्वेज, यू कैन टॉक अबाउट देयर वोकैबुलरी. Okay, so this is what anthropology is, a holistic study of man across time and space. Now there are two words in this. You might have understood the term holistic. Holistic means from any kind of dimension, anything. So यहाँ पे आप देखोगे कि when we will see this branches and sub branches of anthropology, it is socio-cultural, it is physical anthropology, linguistic anthropology, and archaeological anthropology. So this is to explore man from all the kind of dimensions. हर direction से हर तरीके से इंसान को study करना है. But the more important part is time and space. That man of all the time, हमारे evolutionary history को भी देखना है. From man million years back, what we were and how we have evolved. हम आज जैसे हैं वैसे क्यों हुए, कैसे हुए, क्या changes आए, what were the factors. And space means geographically also. So man of India, man of US, anywhere. So wherever any part of the world, wherever which has been inhabited by human beings is of interest to an anthropologist. Okay, what is difference there, how human beings are living there, and why is there so much of variation, why people in India who are living in India are living differently than people who are living in US or Europe or in Saudi Arabia. Okay, so why even in India, why people of Rajasthan and why people of Kanyakumari, they have different way of life. Why is it so? Why is so much of cultural variation? What influences, what are the factors that has caused this kind of variations? And also how we have changed from past to the present. So आज से हम 2 million years back, 20 lakh years back, हम कैसे थे? How was our body built and what was our culture that we used to follow? what kind of tools we used to make. And now हम आज के टाइम पे इतने sophisticated lifestyle जी रहे हैं, हमारी body कैसी है, okay, and what kind of tools we can make now, okay, and why this kind of evolution has happened. उसमें biological changes क्या आए, genetic changes क्या क्या आए, and cultural changes क्या क्या है, वो सब हम देखेंगे, और इनके पीछे का reason भी क्या है. So this is what anthropology is going to. So this 6 words actually give a very beautiful or very comprehensive essence of what is going to be studied in anthropology, a holistic study of man across time and space. So we will be like exploring one dimension, that is time, and here I will try to make it a bit interesting. So talking about time, okay, so in time we know that आप लोगों को बेसिक आइडिया तो होगा ही अबाउट चार्ल्स डार्विन, थ्योरी ऑफ सर्वाइवल ऑफ द फिटेस्ट, ओके, एंड समवॉट ये भी पता ही होगा कि दैट वी हैव इवॉल्व्ड some years back or some million years back, we were like apes. Apes are our ancestors, and we were like apes, and then our journey from apes to man is what we are going to see. So basically time वाले dimension में we are going to explore our journey from apes to man. So how this journey has been. So we were quadrupedals. Quadrupedals means we were walking on 4 legs. Quadru. Okay. And from being a quadruped to biped. Biped means we are walking on 2 legs. Okay. So how this journey has been. कैसे 4 पैर से चलने वाला जानवर एक 2 पैर पे चलने वाले जानवर में कन्वर्ट हो जाता है. ओके, एंड इसके बेसिकली हाउ चेंजिंग फ्रॉम क्वाड्रुपेड टू बाइपेड हैज इफेक्टेड अवर लाइफ, जिससे बेसिकली हमारे हाथ फ्री हो गए. वी गॉट अवर हैंड्स फ्री. ओके, देन वी हैव ऑपोजेबल थंब, जिसकी वजह से बेसिकली वी कैन मैनिपुलेट थिंग्स विच इज नॉट available, or this feature is not available to many animals who are using all the 4 limbs to just to walk. Okay, so here we are having hands to hold tools, to do a lot of things, to manipulate objects, and this was the beginning of our journey. Okay, यहाँ से basically humankind एक नई species पैदा होती है, एक नई species का जन्म होता है, that basically is set to rule the world the moment we became biped. Okay, and वहाँ से वो millions of years की जो journey है, that is what we are going to explore in anthropology. So basically उसके बाद हमारा brain develop होता है, our brain develops, and then we are able to make a lot of tools, and then basically we are increasing our ability to survive, or in fact we became better and better. With every generation we became better and better to survive. We outrun many of the animals which were once our predators, or we were the prey, and now we are the one who are protecting those animals. हम उनको कंजर्व कर रहे हैं. एक पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे हमारे एंसेस्टर्स कितने खुश होंगे एक पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे, दैट वी वेर वंस प्रोटेक्टिंग आवरसेल्व्स फ्रॉम टाइगर्स, एंड नाउ वी आर कंजर्विंग द टाइगर्स. ओके, वी आर हैविंग नेशनल पार्क्स, वी आर हैविंग वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरीज. सो आवर एंसेस्टर्स जो आज से 2 मिलियन ईयर्स पहले हमारे एंसेस्टर्स होंगे, वो आज अगर हमें देख रहे होंगे, उनकी आत्मा तो बहुत खुश होती होगी कि पहले हम शेर चीतों से भागते थे, अपने आप को बचा रहे थे, और आज हम उनको कंजर्व करने के लिए पार्क्स बना रहे हैं. So this is basically our journey that we began 2 million years back, and we started to rule this world. Okay, आज के टाइम पे anything can get extinct except human beings. We have so many techniques. Any animal can get extinct. Okay, animals extinct हो रहे हैं, but human beings, we have technology, we have brain, we have power that we can modify the environment around us. इस तरीके का बाकी लोग क्लाइमेट चेंज की वजह से, बाकी एनिमल्स जो हैं क्लाइमेट चेंज की वजह से दे माइट गेट डिसअपियर्ड और दे माइट गेट एक्सटिंक्ट, बट वी हैव डेवलप्ड सो मच, वी हैव so much of knowledge that we can alter our micro environment to make it favorable for us. Okay, so this is the journey. Okay, and that only began the moment we moved from being a quadruped to biped. Okay, वहां से वो जर्नी शुरू हो जाती है, and this whole journey will be seen in anthropology. Okay, so ऐसे there are certain fossils, और जो हमारे ह्यूमन एंसेस्टर्स है उसको हम फॉसिल्स बोलेंगे, जिनकी स्केलेटन्स वी हैव डिस्कवर्ड. ओके, होमो इरेक्टस, निएंडरथल टू होमो सेपियंस. वेरी सिंपली, ओके, वी विल मूव इनटू Homo habilis was predecessor of Homo erectus. Okay, so यहाँ से basically it was the first time we found that we were bipeds, और ये हमारा पहला एविडेंस मिलता है. इससे पहले ऑस्ट्रेलोपिथेकस कुछ है और कई सारे ऐसे फॉसिल्स हमें मिले जहां से बेसिकली हमें बाइपेड होने का बेसिकली प्रूफ मिलता है. ऑस्ट्रेलोपिथेकस, होमो हैबिलिस, होमो इरेक्टस, निएंडरथल, होमो सेपियंस, ये बेसिकली हमारी एवोल्यूशनरी जर्नी बेसिकली दे मेक इट अप. ओके, और ये हमारे प्रूफ है एवोल्यूशनरी जर्नीज के, और इनके थ्रू बेसिकली वी आर गोइंग टू एक्सप्लोर आवर एवोल्यूशनरी cycle. Okay, evolutionary path. Now during this evolutionary changes, biological evolution, we developed certain behaviors also. Why? As I have told you that we wanted to protect, or basically any species will be considered successful in its evolution only if it's able to procreate. The only aim is to procreate. आप reproduce कर पाओगे, only then you will be considered successful. The moment any species is not able to reproduce or procreate, what will happen? It will get extinct. एक point of time के बाद वो उसके numbers खत्म होते चल जाएंगे and it will get extinct. So whatever we did intentionally, consciously or unconsciously was a step to increase of the power of reproduction, or to promote our survival. Okay, so any behavior that enhance the ability to procreate was accepted as a normal behavior. So basically जो हमारा aggressive behavior है, what, so we say that we are aggressive, और हम angry क्यों होते हैं, why we get angry. So basically this aggressive behavior has been a behavior of the past because that helps us to dominate. Okay, with this aggressive behavior we were able to dominate over a group, and we were able to extract more resources for us or our family member. Again, by more resources we will be able to give better resources to our family members, will make them healthy, will increase their capacity to reproduce. Okay, then a behavior of, you can say, affinity or attraction. Why we get attracted? This again, attraction is a behavior to promote procreation, to increase reproductive power. Okay, so हम reproduce, अपनी reproduction की क्षमता को बढ़ाना चाहते हैं. We wanted to increase our capability to procreate so that thus our species become success. और यहाँ पे basically we were not thinking like species, but we were thinking like an individual or a small group. Okay, but everything that we wanted to do was to increase the capability to reproduce, or basically just to increase the probability of our survival. Not just our survival, the survival of our coming generation or maybe the next generation. And attraction also is one of the behavior. We get attracted. Okay, so to whom we get attracted? Ultimately we get attracted to the man or the woman who is healthy or with good genes, and the intention is to have the next generation who will be healthy and intelligent, or the one who will be properly, means जो fit child होगा. The next generation should be fit, and that is the behavior of attraction. So whatever the kind of behavior we seem like very natural to us, it's emotional. Ultimately deep down the line when you think, you will find that कि इसका कहीं ना कहीं से हमारे प्रोक्रिएशन या रिप्रोडक्शन में कुछ बेनिफिट है. ओके, डीप डाउन द लाइन कई सारे ऐसे बिहेवियर्स हैं दैट दे आर बेनिफिशियल टू अस. देन द क्वेश्चन कम्स दैट व्हाई डू वी मेक सोसाइटी? So you must be thinking that why are we like people? अभी जानवर की तरह होते, कुत्ते बिल्ली की तरह, तो बेसिकली सुबह उठो, खाना खोजो, पूरे दिन खाना खोज रहे हो. ओके, एंड उनका काम है सुबह से शाम, बेसिकली दे लुक फॉर फूड, सर्च फॉर फूड, हंट और किल और गेट वट एवर. ओके, एंड देन स्लीप, नथिंग एल्स. एंड वी आर लाइक गेटिंग अप and preparing for civil services, reading Hindu newspaper, then economics, geography and all that stuff, then finally anthropology. So ये सब करने की आखिर में जरूरत क्या है? Why are we not like animals? Just basically just looking for our food, okay, nothing more than that, and sleeping, eating and sleeping and reproducing. These are the three things that animals are doing all day long. So why is it that we are living in a society? What happened actually? What has happened in this evolutionary journey that we became different from the several animals? Okay, why we needed society? Why we needed to have a civilized, we needed a law or something like this to manage this society? So basically, it is said that we had the tendency for surplus. हमारे पास बाकी जानवरों से ज़्यादा, जब the moment we started to evolve, when we became biped, there was a tendency to accumulate, there was a tendency to have surplus, ज़रूरत से ज़्यादा चीज़ें होना. And the moment we had surplus, बाकी जानवरों के पास ऐसा नहीं होता. Okay, when the moment their stomach is full, they are satisfied, they will go and sleep or they will rest. Okay, they won't store the food for next day. Okay, they won't take it to their rest house and keep it for maybe 5 days. कि बाद में जब खाना नहीं मिलेगा तो then I'll eat it. But we had this capability. We had this much of intelligence to accumulate surplus. Okay, so human beings was always in need of surplus. We tried to gather more than what we need. Okay, and this surplus production or having surplus material with us was the reason why society appeared in the very first place. Okay. So I'm not talking about society wherein where there is a kind of horde. Okay, ऐसे झुंड की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. Society means where people have proper status, where people have proper role. Okay, and they are engaging and there is some kind of authority with certain people. Okay, and why do we need such kind of status, role and authority? Okay, that I am like chief and I have the power to so basically the one who will be the more dominating will be deciding that how this surplus is to be utilized, or how whatever the food or resources you have to be distributed among the people. Only then the group can survive, only then the group can manage, else everybody will start fighting among themselves and will kill each other. Okay, और हमारी tendency थी that basically if there is one chapati and there are 5 people, so if there is no law, if there is no rule and regulation, everybody will fight among each other and सब के सब मर जाएंगे. But if there is some kind of management, some kind of rules, regulations, so it can be distributed properly, it can be managed. Okay, so this is the reason that we needed to develop a society. Okay, a kind of social agreement was there between individuals that okay, we can distribute, और एक दिन तुम hunting करके ले आओगे. Suppose if I do not get any kind of hunt, or I am not able to kill any animal, so it's okay. You might help me. The next day, one day might come that you might fail and I can get the animal and we can share. Basically, ultimately the survival of the group was more important than the survival of the individual. Okay, and that is what basically society was made for. Okay, ताकि ग्रुप सर्वाइव करे और इंडिविजुअल के लिए सर्वाइव करना बड़ा मुश्किल है. रीजन क्या है? बिकॉज अनलाइक अदर एनिमल्स, वी ह्यूमन बींग्स, वी नीड काइंड ऑफ ए लॉन्ग care by our parents. We do not develop our brain, nor we do not develop physically so well or so fast that we can get our food at a very young age. At least for 1 year, 2 years, we are not even able to walk, or we are not able to communicate also. So that is the most dangerous, or that is the most critical period. Okay, it's not like animals like dogs. The dogs, the moment they are born, they start running. Okay, and within few days they will have this sense of collecting food and where to go, where not to go. But that is not available with human beings. In fact, in the modern time, we are dependent on our parents for 30 years till we qualify civil services exam. Okay, so this basically requires our dependency on our family, our parents. Okay, and this makes us more inclined towards the group or society to which we belong. इंडिविजुअल रहना बहुत मुश्किल है. लाइक अदर एनिमल्स, इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल फॉर अस टू लिव इंडिविजुअली. एंड ये चीज आपको मैं बताऊंगा कि इवन वी हैव बीन लिविंग इन सोसाइटी. एनी इंडिविजुअल कैन नॉट लिव अलोन. सो बेसिकली वी आर फॉलोइंग ए काइंड ऑफ होर्ड बिहेवियर। और आप देखोगे ना कि शेयर मार्केट्स कैसे चलता है, इट्स बिकॉज ऑफ दिस होर्ड बिहेवियर। आपके बिहेवियर प्रिडिक्ट किए जाते हैं कि पब्लिक कैसे बिहेव करेगी, एंड इट हैपेंस। कोई न्यूज आती है तो शेयर मार्केट गिरने लग जाता है, कोई न्यूज आती है तो शेयर मार्केट राइज कर जाता है। व्हाई इज इट हैपनिंग? इट्स बिकॉज दैट वी हैव लिव्ड इन ग्रुप एंड वी people know that how this news is going to affect us psychologically and what will be our reaction against it, and that is why they are able to predict the behavior of the people, and on a large scale, very large scale, they know that this is how the people are going to react, and that's why जब मार्केट गिरता है तो एक आदमी नहीं बेचता तो मार्केट गिरता है, सब के सब शेयर बेच रहे होते हैं। और जब मार्केट राइज करता है तो एवरीबडी इज बाइंग एंड दैट्स व्हाई मार्केट इज राइजिंग। सो ऐसा क्या है कि सब के सब एक जैसे सोचने लग गए। पीपल लिविंग इन डिफरेंट ज्योग्राफी, डिफरेंट इकोनॉमिक बैकग्राउंड से होंगे, बट स्टिल एवरीबडी इज थिंकिंग वेरी सिमिलरली। व्हाई इज इट सो? It's because we have lived in a society and we know we have faced a similar kind of threats and similar kinds of conditions, okay, and this has been hardwired in our body, and we know there are certain reactions that are very common, very, it can be like predicted, for granted आप ले सकते हो, that you can say that this is the reaction that you will see with any individual if such kind of condition happens, and that's why ये शेयर मार्केट के प्रेडिक्शन बिहेवियर्स काफी हद तक सही हो जाते हैं। वी नो दैट कि रिलायंस कंपनी रिसेंटली अगर कोई उसमें कुछ स्टेक इन्वेस्ट करेगा तो डेफिनेटली एवरीबडी विल स्टार्ट बाइंग रिलायंस का शेयर की प्राइस बढ़ जाएगी। सो व्हाई इज नोबडी थिंकिंग डिफरेंटली? व्हाई इज इट नॉट हैपनिंग? ओके, इट्स बिकॉज वी हैव लिव्ड इन सोसाइटी, वी आर ए सोशल एनिमल and most of our behaviors are shaped up by the society which we live. So basically इसको होर्ड बिहेवियर कहते हैं, भेड़ चाल जिसको कहते हैं। Okay, so everybody kind of behaves or reacts similarly to various kind of stimuli that we see. Okay, individual consciousness is there, but yes, in most of the times you will find very similar behavior. Okay, so this is what we are going to explore. Okay, now we see that कि जो हमारा evolution हुआ है, it has been divided into several cultural ages like Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic, Iron Age, then industries. So Paleolithic, Meso, Neo, Iron Age and industries, these are the ages, cultural ages that we have developed. But most of our life as a human beings, if we see our evolutionary journey has been spent under Paleolithic, okay, majority of our life in the Paleolithic age, or we have lived as hunter gatherers. We were living in forest, hunting animals and gathering the fruits. Okay, so most of our life we have spent as hunter gatherers, हमारी majority evolutionary journey वैसी रही है। So इसके कई सारे basically evidences आपको अभी भी मिल जाएंगे। The moment you might have seen that किसी दिन अगर आप बहुत लेट उठते हो, okay, मे बी आप दोपहर में 2-3 बजे के बाद जगते हो, तो आपका मूड बहुत खराब होता है। You might have felt very much frustrated. Okay, बहुत गंदा लगता है, ऐसा लगता है कि बहुत मतलब इरिटेटिंग सा, अजीब सी फीलिंग। Have you ever thought why it is so? Why the moment after, even if you get later than 2 p.m. in the afternoon, why do you feel so? And if you haven't felt yet, just experience it once. You will definitely. It's because that we have, as I have told you, that we have spent most of our life as hunter-gatherers, and we used to get early or get the moment the sun rises, and we used to start looking for our food. But if we get up late, so we had a feeling that abhi 2-3 घंटे में सूरज ढल जाएगा, the sun will set, and then we won't be able to get the food or fruit, and we have to sleep bare stomach. And that was the reason that there was a kind of continuous frustration during the hunter-gatherer time if we used to wake up late. And this has been still now, although we will have food, we will not sleep bare stomach, but this has been hardwired in our body. ये evolutionary behavior है, that is still there. Okay, so whenever you get up later than 2 p.m., 3 p.m. in the afternoon, you will feel this. You will definitely have this feeling, and you might have felt this. Okay, so this is because we have spent most of our life as hunter gatherers. हमारी पूरी evolutionary majority journey basically we has been spent as hunter gatherers. It's in Neolithic we started cultivating food agriculture, and that is hardly 10,000 years back. Okay, and our evolutionary journey is more than 4 million years ago. Okay, so that this behavior has been inculcated so much that our genes started responding in the same way. हमारी body में वैसे ही chemical secrete होने लग जाते हैं the moment we get up very late. Okay, so then कुछ और ऐसे बेसिकली फिनोमिनन्स हैं दैट यू कैन सी दैट आर रिलेटेड टू अवर एवोल्यूशनरी जर्नी, और कुछ ऐसे बिहेवियर्स हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, यू माइट हैव सीन दैट द बॉयज they cannot identify or they cannot distinguish very much finely between colors, shades of same color. Boys are very weaker in doing so. Boys cannot distinguish between the shades of same color. Why is it so? And girls are very much expert in doing so. So they can even tell you that red के भी 3-4 major shades के बीच में difference बता देंगे कि वो color same. This happened to me. I went with my mother to a shopping complex, and then I said कि ये दोनों red ही तो हैं, but she was like कि she knows 10 shades of red, 10 shades of green and all that stuff, and I was like ये सब green ही तो होते हैं. So why is it so that girls are very good in identifying different shades of color and boys are weaker in it? हमारे सेंसेस में ये डिफरेंस क्यों है? इट इज सेड दैट द वुमेन हैज मोस्टली बीन गैदरर्स. ओके, दे यूज्ड टू कलेक्ट फ्रूट्स, नट्स, सीड्स. ओके, एंड वुमेन while collecting fruits, seeds and nut, they had to identify the fruits with color, कि वो पक गया है, वो poisonous तो नहीं है. Okay, and that's why they have relied more on their sense of vision and also smell. Okay, they used to smell. So that's why women के जो sense of aroma है, sense of smell है, वो काफी ज़्यादा developed है, and also color shades को बहुत finely distinguish कर सकते हैं. Okay, because most of their evolutionary journey they have spent their time as gatherers, and this is one possible hypothesis for it. It's not that it's theory, because recently there was a news article saying that even women used to hunt as equal as men in certain societies. There were cases. Okay, but this is what is said that's why we might not be able to discover, or boys are very weaker in identifying color. But on the other hand, you don't need to take me as a male chauvinistic because I have told the weakness of male. Now I am telling that why women are not so good drivers. It is said that women are not so good drivers, and the girls listening to it, please don't take me as a patriarch, okay, just imposing the patriarchal thought on the society. It has been observed. Okay, so why? Because or men are better drivers than women, or in any kind of sports that require precision and speed, you will find that male are doing better than women. It's because that men have been mostly the hunters, and they used to spot the animal. They had to run behind the animals, and they had to hit the animals with either bow and arrow or any kind of tools. So they needed to have a appropriate or precise idea of speed, velocity of the wind, and relative speed, and that's why this sense has developed better in men than women. Okay, and that is why you will find that men are better drivers than women, and there is nothing to be like a competition. I'm not just saying that better means they better have sense of direction. Okay, so men have better sense of direction than women, and it is a hypothesis. Okay, that is because of the senses that men used was different, or the senses that women relied upon. Okay, so women more relied upon the sense of vision and sense of smell than men, and that's why that senses have developed more appropriately or in a better way than that of men. So basically this is some interesting fact that you can see, that you can observe while we observe the evolutionary journey of mankind. how we have evolved from ape to human being, and how basically this evolutionary journey has uh, shaped our behavior, of formed our behavior. Then we move to Mesolithic age. So that is a kind of transition period from hunter gatherers to Neolithic, that means agricultural age में. Basically this is the transition period that we were. So कहीं कुछ कुछ जगहों पे basically we started cultivating, but that was not on a very large scale or not that sufficient, but we were discovering कि, so basically this is a transition period, and यहाँ पे you will find that we started to bury the dead ones inside, basically inside the settlement that or below the settlements that we used to inhabit. तो परमानेंट सेटलमेंट का कंडीशन शुरू हो जाता है. वी स्टार्ट, जहां से हमने कल्टीवेशन करना शुरू किया, वी स्टार्टेड टू हैव परमानेंट सेटलमेंट. क्योंकि अभी तो पहले हंटर गैदर्स थे, तो बेसिकली वी यूज टू चेंज आवर प्लेसेस. जहां पे बेसिकली खाना मिलेगा, जहां पे एनिमल्स मिलेंगे, वी विल बेसिकली मूव अकॉर्डिंगली. बट द मोमेंट वी स्टार्टेड टू प्रोड्यूस, अभी खेत बना लिया है, वहां पे कल्टीवेशन करना है, तो बेसिकली वी हैव टू लिव नियर बाय. ओके, सो वहां पे बेसिकली वी नीडेड टू bury our dead ones, and there was a practice found in almost every Mesolithic society that they used to bury the dead ones below their houses wherever they used to live. अभी आपको कोई लैंडलॉर्ड आपसे बोले कि भाई यहाँ पे पैर आराम से रखना, यहाँ पे मेरे एंसेस्टर्स को दफनाया हुआ है मैंने, तो आप तो वो कभी घर ही नहीं लोगे. ओके, बट दिस वाज द प्रैक्टिस बेसिकली 10-15,000 years बैक, दैट जहां पे भी हम रहते थे, हमारे डेड वंस बेसिकली हम वहीं पे बरी करते थे. उसी घर के नीचे एक पिट होता था. ओके, सो दिस वेर द प्रैक्टिसेस दैट वी यूज्ड टू फॉलो. देन वी मूव टू नियोलिथिक, देन वी हमारे टूल्स और डेवलप हुए, वी डिस्कवर्ड आयरन, एंड वहां से बेसिकली वी स्टार्टेड कल्टिवेटिंग, वी इंक्रीज अवर यील्ड, वी हैड सरप्लस, एंड उससे करते करते हमारे टूल्स, टेक्नोलॉजीज, वेल्थ, एवरीथिंग स्टार्टेड टू डेवलप. And the movement अभी तक basically Mesolithic तक what happened was we were hunter gatherers, more or less hunter gatherers, so we had only what we needed. आज दिन का कलेक्ट किया, our life was very similar to that of animals. okay, कि उतना ही कलेक्ट करेंगे जितने की जरूरत है, सरप्लस की कोई जरूरत नहीं है क्योंकि रोज हंटिंग करने जाना है. okay, but the moment we moved into Neolithic, we started to cultivate, or we had yield that was more than what is required. So उससे बेसिकली क्या हुआ, वो सरप्लस है, एंड देन सरप्लस विल काइंड ऑफ क्रिएट इनइक्वालिटी इन द सोसाइटी, एंड दैट वाज द रीजन फॉर कमिंग ऑफ सोशल स्ट्रैटिफिकेशन. अकॉर्डिंग टू a theory that social stratification began with surplus in the society. तो सोसाइटी में सोशल स्ट्रैटिफिकेशन आता है, दैट मीन्स देयर इज एन इनइक्वालिटी, देयर somebody will be rich, somebody will be poor, and somebody will have unequal access over the resources. The one who has control over the surplus will be the more powerful, he will hold political authority, he might be ritually more powerful or ritually superior. So these kind of social stratification also started to come up in the society, that inequalities, and ye dheere dheere this inequalities get more deeper and more intense. okay, and various forms of social stratification has come up, and that is also what we are going to study, like the social stratification on the basis of race, ethnicity, caste, class, okay, gender. So these all, how did they come up, and what was the source of origin, what was the reason for it? And so basically till this the society was very equal, egalitarian in nature, because everybody, there was no tendency for having surplus. okay, surplus था ही नहीं basically, but यहाँ से basically surplus आते ही we needed, there was inequality, due to inequality there will be stratification. okay, so one or two more things जो basically हमारे evolutionary history से जुड़े हुए हैं. many of you might not have touched snakes. आप लोगों ने कभी snake को touch तो नहीं किया होगा, लेकिन if you think of snake skin, you will definitely have a feeling, you have a feeling कि snake की skin ऐसी सी होती है, some jelly like thing, थोड़ी semi wet and soft. okay, why do you have this feeling when you have never touched a snake? इट्स बेसिकली जो हमारे फोबियाज भी हैं, जो मेजॉरिटी फोबियाज हैं, दैट इज ऑल्सो ड्यू टू अवर एवोल्यूशनरी जर्नी. ओके, उस समय तो टॉर्च वगैरह तो होता नहीं था. तो व्हेन वी यूज टू मीन्स कई बार क्या होता था कि पेड़ के बीच में होल्स होते थे, वे फ्रॉम वेयर वी यूज टू गेट द एग्स ऑफ वेरियस बर्ड्स और एनिमल्स. ओके, एंड मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स वी वर नॉट लाइक, इट वाज नॉट एन इजी टारगेट. उस होल में यू माइट फाइंड अ स्नेक, you might find a rat, you might find a spider. Okay, and these are the animals that we fear the most: spider, cockroach, snakes. And everybody unanimously across the world, with exceptions, some exceptions, that they have phobia of snake. Okay, if I give you a rope with same texture, you will immediately say, and I ask you to guess, you will immediately throw it away. Or if in a dark room, if something very similar to a rope is thrown on you, you will just throw it back thinking that it's a snake. Why this reaction is there in the very first place? Because most of our evolutionary history, we have faced the similar kind of threat, the same phobia, and that is why we are very quick to distinguish it or identify it and react. So these phobias also are evolutionary in nature. Okay, now chicken, most of you people might be non-vegetarian. चिकन का क्या टेस्ट होता है? सिर्फ चिकन का क्या टेस्ट है? इफ यू ईट चिकन, यू विल फाइंड दैट इट्स, उसके टेस्ट नहीं, टेस्ट तो उसकी ग्रेवी का है. ओके, जो मसाला उसमें डाला जाता है. चिकन इज टेस्टलेस. बट if I give you the same gravy every day without chicken in it, you won't feel the satisfaction. Or if I give the same gravy with paneer or something else, you won't feel the satisfaction. Why did you feel but the moment you bite a chicken, okay, you get a sense of satisfaction as if you are eating something very tasty. It's again due to history, our evolutionary history, that the moment we used to hunt an animal, we used to eat it, there was a sense of satisfaction. We used to get a sense of satisfaction. और आज भी वो satisfaction मिलता है the moment you eat chicken. Okay, so this tendency is still there. So this is in general. I'm just maybe जब हम लोग anthropology पढ़ेंगे तो we won't be able to explore on this line. But I tell you that yes, hunting gathering has been our part of our life for 99% of our evolutionary journey, and these are certain behaviors which are present in us that has been shaped up when we were hunter gatherers and still are being followed. We might not have been able to explore it, but this journey we have to study, that how, and you will find answers of various questions that you still were thinking. Okay, so let me tell you that यहाँ से basically the moment we started Neolithic, हमारी evolutionary journey में infectious disease का बहुत ज़्यादा बड़ा रोल रहा है. We have diseases have played a very important role in our evolution. Okay, and it's during our evolution we have also encountered several diseases and also made several diseases. So what happened, the moment we moved from Mesolithic to Neolithic, we started to clear the forest for agriculture. Abhi agriculture ke liye, when we started to clear our forest, what happened was mosquitoes that were then living on the blood of the animals of the forest, we became their host. We started to basically entertain them, or we started to serve our blood to them. So, एक नई बीमारी हमें मिलने शुरू हो गई. Okay, then we started to domesticate animals. The moment we domesticated animals, we again came into contact with several microorganisms that were living on the body of those animals. Then we started to plow the soil. We came more into contact with the soil. Again, new microorganisms that were present in the soil, we encountered them. Okay, and then we had surplus also. So sorry, before surplus, when we started living, having a permanent habitation. So permanent habitation में we needed a source of water nearby. So हम बार बार तो नदी के पास जाएंगे नहीं. So we needed a source of water. We started to dig the pits and store water there. Abhi when we started to store water there or have a stagnant water, source of stagnant water, then insects start to breed upon it. Again, new source of disease. Then we started to store the surplus, and wherever we stored surplus, it attracted rodents, and these rodents, they are the carriers of micro plagues, okay, and new disease. But these all disease were confined to a small places or wherever small population, क्योंकि उस समय तो इतनी ज़्यादा population होती नहीं थी, and this disease never took the shape of epidemic like the coronavirus that has taken place right now. Why? Because it was very small group of people who were having surplus and they were suffering from the disease. Even if everybody will die, the disease will end up there only. It will not spread to a large area. But when the moment we had surplus, we started to trade it or we started to exchange it. Okay. And the moment we started to exchange the surplus, the microorganism of one place started to travel to other area, and the microorganism of other area will be, so exchange of microorganisms also happened with the exchange of goods, and this basically created the phenomena of pandemic or epidemic. So microorganisms started to travel to large distance, and majority of the disease in the present time, infectious disease, are due to this, is the result of globalization. So be it HIV, be it any kind of disease, the trade when it started to a very large extent, वहाँ पे basically colonization of the world started to happen. Along with the colonial powers, what went was the microorganism, and this microorganism has caused these diseases have caused devastating effect on the population of various countries and even continents. Okay, so this all that we are experiencing now has some linkage to our past evolutionary journey. Okay, and आज के टाइम पे जो कोरोना वायरस है वो भी बेसिकली कहीं ना कहीं हमारे कल्चर और हमारी एवोल्यूशनरी जर्नी से आप उसको एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं. So even our diseases also is related to our culture. So basically the moment we started to have agriculture, we started to have more infectious diseases. Okay, so this is something that we are going to explore in physical anthropology, epidemiology, जो हम लोग देखेंगे that how the disease pattern has changed with time and what kind of diseases are there and how disease and culture are connected to each other. How certain culture promotes certain specific types of disease and illness. Okay, so this is some basic idea about what we are going to see in the level of time. Okay, time में हम लोग ये सब चीजें देखेंगे. And space, basically the variations of various cultures, how people are living differently in different geographies and what factors have shaped their way of life. This is what we are going to study there. Then now let's come to some theoretical aspects. It was general thing that I was talking just to make this discussion somewhat a bit interesting for you people. So now we'll see that as I have told you that it's a holistic study of mankind across time and space. So there are 4 sub branches, and here holistic study, they will help us to achieve this aim of having holistic study, that is socio-cultural anthropology, physical anthro, linguistic anthro, and archaeological anthro. So these are the 4 sub branches of anthropology. Okay, here in this 4 sub branches of anthropology, socio-cultural, physical, linguistic and archaeology, so we are trying to explore mankind from every dimension. So in socio-cultural we are trying to understand the socio-cultural aspects of man's life. Okay, we'll try to explore how man and religion are connected. Okay, then family, marriage, kinship, culture, society, economics, politics. So everything, every dimension related to man's cultural life will be explored here. Okay, and they will be integrated, they will be connected, that how economy and polity and religion are connected, how economy is connected to religion. So it's not like that ki these are in isolation. So every subject like economics or politics, political science, they basically they look at one dimension of mankind. So they are always trying to understand the political aspect or the economic aspects, or maybe if we study theology, so they will be exploring only on the theological aspect or the religious aspects. But in here we are integrating, or we take culture as an integrated whole. That means everything is connected, nothing can be studied in isolation. So a Hindu, he can never be a uh, he can never open a slaughterhouse. Why is it so? So some economic aspects is also related to religion, or it's the religion that will basically determine what kind of economy or economic practice one will engage into. Okay, so or what kind of politics that a society has will be determined by the resources that they possess, the kind of topography where they live in. Okay, or even the marriage practices, that depends upon the local demography, the kind of way of life that those people have. So for example, in societies where there is lot of warfare, so us case mein what happens during warfare, mostly who dies? Men. So there will be a surplus of women. So when there is a surplus of women, these women need to have some mates. Okay, and there you will find the existence of polygyny. Okay, man having multiple wives. Okay, so such kind of cases will be seen. So nothing can be studied in isolation. Here we will be studying everything, how each and everything, how polity is related to economy, religion, how they are connected to each other. Okay, how they shape each other and influence each other. Then the next one is the physical anthropology. So physical anthropology, we will be studying the man. Biological aspects of man which has made him so capable to make culture or modify culture. Okay, moreover we are studying the variations between humankind. So why the people are, some people are tall, some people are short. Basically if we see, let me tell you one thing, that overall anthropology, it runs around a single most important debate, that is the debate of nature versus nurture. Okay, so nature versus nurture, this debate says that nature side says that whatever we are due to our biology. Okay, so आप intelligent हो तो it's because of your genes, it's because of your biological built up. But nurture side says that आप intelligent हो या whatever you are or whatever however you behave, it's because of the socio-cultural environment in which you were born and brought up. So it's the environment around you that shapes you. But the nature side will say it's the biology which is more important. So every anthropologist will be trying to find out, or will definitely try to comment upon it in some way or the other, or it can be understood from the way he has described culture or the way he emphasized on certain facts. So what side that he belongs to. Okay, so kahin na kahin, so basically socio-cultural wale mein basically we will see how they shape our behavior. Then with physical anthropology we will also try to understand the nature side also, ki how much our biology, how much our genes are responsible for our behavior, kitne percent tak. So we will be conducting various studies like twin studies karte hain, and various co-twin studies, foster child studies. So we are conducting various studies to understand the role of nature or biology and role of environment in our behavior. So this is what we are going to understand. Then we will be moving to language aspects. So linguistic anthropology will be trying to understand language in its social context or in cultural context. Okay, so let me tell you that language, our language, does it promote sexist thinking? Does language promote sexist thinking? Just think about it. Actually, yes. There are certain languages which are more sexist, or which have clear-cut understanding of, which have very much clarity about the gender aspect or sex aspect. For example, Hindi. Hindi mein it's very clear. Every animate or inanimate object has a particular sex. ये चेयर टूट जाएगी, ओके, ये कब टूट जाएगा, ये कब गिर जाएगा, Okay, गाड़ी चलती है, ट्रक चलता है. Okay, so basically there is a sex of even the animate and inanimate objects, and it is said that these language, they decide at what level the child will have understanding of sex difference. Okay, so I hope you are getting my point, that language do have a very important role in our culture. Okay, then in the linguistic anthropology we will also try to understand that in the evolutionary history of man, when did we develop the biological capacity that made us capable to invent speech and to speak. कब ऐसा capacity हमारे अंदर आया that we were able to make the sounds that we are making now, and we were able to arrange those sound or structure those sound in a particular order that developed the language, that made some kind of senses. So we'll try to understand the origin of language also. So this is what we are going to study in linguistic anthropology, and in archaeological anthropology we'll try to reconstruct our evolutionary past. So that is how we are going to explore the mankind from all the dimensions. Okay, so this is in brief what we are going to study in anthropology, and it's going to be definitely a very interesting journey. So in 4 years you will get a lot of answers, questions answered, and you will be more curious to understand a lot more things that might have puzzled you, or that might puzzle you even after learning anthropology. Okay, so this is in short what we are going to study in anthropology. Now we will see what are we going to, or how we are going to approach it, or what will be our study pattern. So we will start with the basic and the most fundamental aspect of anthropology, that is unit 6, theories, paper 1. And then after covering theories, we will be looking at unit 5, religion, then political anthropology, economic anthropology, unit 3 and 4, then unit 2, that is culture, society, kinship, marriage, family and kinship. So this will be the order that we are going to follow. And then we will move to linguistic anthropology, that is unit 7, and then we will move to physical anthropology. Okay, that is the biological aspect, that we will wrap it up by around 60 lectures. Okay, and then after physical anthropology we will move to paper 2, where we will be studying Indian anthropology, caste, village and various Indian anthropologists and their perspectives, and development of, or developmental history of anthropology in India. Okay, so this will be, and then the last part of our lectures will be tribal India, very important aspects. Okay, and we will be looking at the simple societies that are present in India and how they are living, what are their problems, and how they have been administered, and what needs to be done in the present time to improve their conditions. Okay, so this will be our study pattern. So, and approximately there will be 90 lectures, 3 hours, or approximately 270 hours of total duration of this course, in which we will be providing you with some tests also, and will be available with to communicate with the students on weekends, maybe on a Zoom call or something like this, and I'll be available 24/7 on my personal phone number. You may give me a call, or you may text me. I'll definitely, if I'm awake or if I'm free, I'll definitely answer the call, and if I'm not, so I'll definitely give you a call back. So this whole is in short what we are going to explore in this 4 months of classes in anthropology. Okay, and one more thing regarding the books and the notes. So I'll give you the handouts. Almost all the handouts will be given by me along with the class notes. I'll dictate some of the notes also, and only 1 or 2 books that I would recommend would needed to be bought. So first one I'm telling you is Tribal Culture of India, LP Vidyarthi, and second is an introduction to Sociocultural Anthropology, that is DN Majumdar. So that these 2 books needs to be bought, and rest all nothing needs to be bought. I'll try to cover as much as possible in the class itself. So This is in short what I wanted to convey through this video to people who are joining my class, who have joined my class, and who will be joining in the future. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you so much.
Hit the bell icon to never miss an update from Level Up IAS. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.